So I'm back with another release to the Winhance project, and this is going to be Winhance release number 5. And as you can see, I just released this about 20 minutes ago. And in this video, I want to take you through everything that's changed, some of the issues that I fixed that you guys mentioned to me, and then just some new features and improvements that I made overall to the project. Now, before I get to the issues that I fixed, I want to go through the new features that I added. And the first one is that I added versioning to the application. So when a new version is released, users are going to be prompted to download and install the latest update. But bear in mind that only comes into effect when you download the latest version that I released today. If you downloaded and installed Winhance before I released this version, which was released today, then you will have to go and manually download the latest version, which is release number 5, and you can just get it from the Winhance downloads page. But once you've installed this version that I released today, if I release new versions in the future, you're going to be seeing a notification that looks like this once you open Winhance, and it'll tell you that a new version of Winhance is available. It'll show you your current version and then the latest version that's currently available, and if you want to go ahead and download and install the update. So I'm going to install it now because I'm running an outdated version for this video, so I can demonstrate this to you. But bear in mind, like I said before, if you downloaded and installed Winhance before I released this update, which was version 25.05.05, you have to go and manually download and install it again, because it's only going to be versions that's released after this update that'll get this notification. But in any case, it's going to download the installer and close the current Winhance that's running on your system. You'll go through the normal installation prompts again, and you can also now see which version you are installing at the top here. So this is today's release. I'm just going to go through the setup process again and then create a desktop shortcut. And I've showed this in my previous video as well, where I took you through the initial release of the C# version of Winhance. But this is what it's going to look like when you update the application. And if it launches again now, you'll see that I won't get that notification again, because I am now running the current latest release of Winhance. So now that we're running the latest release, let's go through the changelog that I added here, and let's start with the issues that I fixed. So the first one is people were reporting that the main window size is too big on lower resolutions, and I fixed that by making the main window correctly getting the current resolution that you have set on your monitor, and then it sets to 90% of the available space. And the window is now also fully resizable. So to demonstrate this to you, I'm just going to change the resolution real quick. So I've just changed the resolution to a smaller resolution, and I'm just going to launch Winhance again. And now you'll see it's properly set to this resolution. Now you'll notice that some of the elements, like this info text here, doesn't fit properly when the resolution is too low. But I didn't consider that as critical components that need to fit. At the end of the day, you can't make everything fit on a very small resolution. But the other thing that's mentioned is the window is fully resizable. So you can now take the corners and drag it and make it even smaller. And you'll see that the search bar still stays there. And the elements on the page now fit in one column if you're using a really small window for Winhance. So this should at least help people to get it resized on different resolutions. And the same goes for the other views. If you resize it, it's going to push everything to one column. So it is now dynamically resizing as you make the window bigger. Okay, so moving on to the next issue was the app installation status was stuck on 66% or 78% overall. And this issue in my findings was related to a pre-check to see if the selected app was already installed or not. And then the result was not being properly passed, which caused the installation not to start. So although it was saying that it's installing already, it wasn't actually installing yet. It was stuck on a check to see if the currently selected app is already installed on your system. So I removed this check completely, since the selected apps should be installed regardless of whether it's already installed or not. Like if you already have it installed in your system, it should just reinstall it again. And then I also added some enhanced progress reporting during the app installations that use Winget. I'm currently running this on a brand new virtual machine. So I'm just going to go ahead and install something like Google Chrome, for example. So I'll just select that and then install the selected items. And then you'll see the status down here. And I'll probably speed this up in the video, but you will see that it is going to go through and successfully install the app that I selected to be installed now. So right now we're nearing that 78% mark. You can see it skipped to 85% and it's busy copying and registering the package. So it's finalizing it, 91% overall, 92%, 94%, and then it should complete in a moment. And there we go. The following apps were successfully installed, and we can just go ahead and click on OK. And there we have Google Chrome installed. So in my testing, this at least fixed the issue for me. And I tested this on both Windows 11 and Windows 10 in virtual machines. But I'm relying on you guys to also go ahead and test it and tell me if it worked for you. Then another issue that I fixed was enhanced restarting of the Windows Explorer process. So I improved handling when changing Windows theme, cleaning the taskbar and start menu. And then this should also stop it from stalling and freezing the application, because some of you guys reported that the app and Windows just freezes when you change the Windows theme, for example. And that's directly related to restarting the Windows Explorer process. And I think for some of you guys, it didn't start the process again. It just stopped it without starting it again. So before I demo this in the video, I want to mention that I also enhanced the config file import. So I added prompts to ask if the user wants to clean up the taskbar and start menu when importing a config file. So to demo this, I'm just going to import a config file that I created earlier that has all of the settings that I like to use. So I'm just going to get that from the desktop here and then import it. And I'm just going to leave all of these settings checked. So I'll click on OK. We're going to do the theme change and also change the wallpaper. Then we get the prompt if we want to clean the taskbar. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and clean the taskbar. And then if we want to clean the start menu as well, yes, I'm going to do that as well, so it can do those changes. Now in this release and the previous release of Winhance, there is some issues unpinning the news and interests from the taskbar, but I am working on a fix to also completely remove that, so that when you clean the taskbar, it is completely clean and there's nothing pinned to it at all, maybe just the file explorer. And then also in Windows 11, the cleaning of the start menu does not work as well as in Windows 10. But again, I'm also working on improving that in future releases. So that's why it's important for you to go ahead and download this latest release so that you do get the update notifications for when I release a new version of Winhance, and that you can automatically download and install it. Because that means I don't have to create a video every time that I release a new version. Although I will keep doing that if you guys let me know down in the comments that you want to see these videos explaining the changes that I made. If that's useful to you, then I'll keep on doing that. I don't mind doing that. But I want to know from you guys in the comments down below if you want to keep seeing videos like this. And then lastly, there are some other improvements that I made, which you guys won't directly see in the UI. But I just refactored some of the settings so I avoid code duplication. And then I also improved the config import handling to ensure that all settings are properly applied to their correct states and not just updated if a change was found. So previously it would just update the settings that were not currently applied, and it would skip those that are already applied. So if a toggle was already disabled, it would just skip that setting. But that caused some issues because it didn't properly set all the registry keys that's defined in a single setting. So for example, the app uses linked registry settings, for example, like send diagnostic data. It doesn't just change one registry key, it changes 4 in this case. And the config import handling didn't properly set all of those keys if the toggle was already in the state that the config file defined it to be in. So for example, let's say the config file had send diagnostic data in the disabled state, but only the first registry setting was present on your system. It would completely skip the send diagnostic data setting and not apply the other 3 settings that's also defined in Winhance. And now I changed that when you import the config file, it's going to apply the setting regardless of the current state of the toggle in Winhance. So that's it for the update, and I just want to thank every single one of you who's supporting the project. I've received a lot of support from you guys, and I just want to say out of the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. It helps me to improve the project tremendously, and it helps me to put out the best available product for you guys. And I'm listening to your feedback and suggestions. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's reporting issues so that I'm aware of them and that I can fix them. And once again, to every single one of you who supported me through Ko-Fi here, you can see there's a lot of people who's already given me support, and I just really thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. And as always, I just want to give a shout out to my YouTube members as well. Thanks everyone for your support. I really appreciate it, and I'll see all of you guys soon.